All right, hey everybody. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about this product that I just started taking. It's called True Hope and Power Plus. And so have you guys watched the Epiphany movie? It's free on the True Hope website and you can actually see kind of what's been going on with the company since they got started. And I'm not going to get too much into the history of the company because I did that in another video and you can find that in my mental health playlist. Um, I was taking the product for a while way back when I came off my meds. I did ayahuasca, I was doing True Hope, I moved out on my own and I quit counseling, and the combination of things just kind of wasn't a good combination for me personally at the time. And so it didn't really work out. I ended up back in hospital and it took me years to rebuild my life. And so I've been researching it lately to see, what are the chances of coming off my meds? What are the chances of relapse versus success versus if I just stay on my meds? And so I called the company today. I talked to them for a little while. I didn't really get a clear answer, but this is what they said. And then they sent me a bunch of notes. They sent me some stuff I can send to my doctor that talks about the safety and the safe doses of each of the ingredients and the studies on each ingredients. They sent me a list of mental health conditions and what's been studied. So I'll tell you a little bit about the ones on psychosis and schizophrenia. It wasn't quite what I was hoping to find. But that being said, it's kind of cool. And I didn't know this, but they actually have a program where they will pay for part of your supplements, and they said that the you have to apply, and then based on what the info that you send them, they'll decide kind of like what amount of discount you get, if any. And so I'm waiting to hear back, but it's not forever. Like, they want you to eventually be able to work more and buy your own supplements, but I think you get it for maybe a year or something. Like, I'm not really too clear. They didn't give me a timeline, but they said you have to reapply every spring um, with your financial info. So I had to send them my age card or, your tax return. So I sent them my age card and I'll hear back. And so I wanted to know, I asked them so many questions today. And my psychiatrist was mad at me for, even taking these supplements or taking the Dr. Hoffer protocol, but I feel like it could help me. So I'm trying it out. I'm not planning on coming off my meds unless I feel like I know what I'm doing, and I would do it probably really slow over 4 years based on the Inner Compass Initiative and their withdrawal guidelines, which is a 5% reduction per month. I'm not doing this out of health advice. Please contact your qualified healthcare practitioner. This is for educational purposes only. I am on clozapine. I'm on a really low dose. When they do my blood work, my dose is half the therapeutic dose. A lot of people don't do well at this dose, but I did. And I still have psychosis, anxiety, depression, possible OCD, ADD, and bipolar. According to my sister, I have those. She's a mental health doctor, but I wasn't actually diagnosed with OCD, ADD, and bipolar currently, anyways. Was originally dosed with OCD as a kid, and then later schizoaffective disorder. I was put on lithium, so maybe they thought I had bipolar, but I don't remember ever being given that. I feel like I've overcome most of my OCD. Maybe I have a little bit, but so do most doctors, so that can be a good thing. It's definitely impacted me on my mental health, and so I went on the Hoffer protocol of niacin and vitamin C, and I was actually starting to feel blissful for the first time in a long time. And then I stopped it due to money, and then I was on the True Hope and the niacin and vitamin C. I'm taking like 15 different herbs and supplements, which is a lot. Maybe not all at once, like the raspberry nettle, chamomile, and lemon balm I only do occasionally. And then I think I'm going to stop the B12. I think I'm going to stop the zinc because it's methylated. And the more research that I've been doing with the True Hope company, they said that I need unmethylated, which they didn't actually have at the health food store, but they have B12 and zinc in the supplement of the True Hope supplement. And so I talked to the person from the company today to ask them what are the success rates of people with schizophrenia coming off their meds. They didn't really have any numbers for me, but this lady speaks to people all day and she has seen people with schizophrenia come off meds to go on this product. I'm not recommending people come off their meds. That can be really dangerous, but I'm just saying that there is some people that have done it. And so that's interesting because most psychiatrists I've talked to have never seen a single patient come off meds and not relapse. But also, these psychiatrists that I deal with tell me not to do these protocols because they're too risky. Also, Dr. Hoffer talked about a lot of his patients when he was switching as an orthomolecular psychiatrist dealing with supplements and nutrients, and he treated thousands of patients with mental health with niacin and vitamin C. It's like 500 milligrams, I believe, and then you double that, and then a week later you double it, and then you double it again until you get up to 3,000, and you take it twice a day, so um 3,000 in total. And I didn't know until recently and started researching his research that 90% of people with schizophrenia that were in the early stages succeeded on his protocol. I think they'd be on medication a lot less, and they were in the earlier stages. And I don't know what early stages were. Was that 2 years? Was it the first 6 months? Like, I don't know. But the people like me, I've been on, antipsychotics for the most part of the last 20 years. So people like me, only 60% of them succeed on his protocol. But he saw a lot of people be able to go to universities and like all these things where he hadn't have seen people that were on medications be able to do that. So these protocols are safe with medication. So back when I tried True Hope originally, they didn't let they told me that the supplement interacted with my medication and that I couldn't take both. Bonnie Kaplan described it to me like, the research scientist from the UFC that really went in depth in these studies and research. And she said, just a sec. Okay, so I got a phone call there and I'm back, and my friend's coming to walk my dog soon with her dog, so that's amazing. Sorry about that, guys. And so I don't know where I was at there. I talked to the True Hope lady. She said that there was an application where I can fill it out and get the supplements partly subsidized, so that was really cool. She said she's talked to a lot of people with schizophrenia that have actually been able to stay off their meds. Um, and a lot of people that stay on their meds and take the True Hope supplement. And so it seems like it could be an option for people that are like really adamant at coming off their meds. Because I'm not recommending people come off, and I'm not planning on doing it unless I really feel stable enough and know what I'm doing. And I would do it really slowly. I'd do 5% reduction per month, which would have to be a water titration because my pills don't come in that amount of dosage to reduce by. It's like 200 milligrams divided by 5, I think would be like 10 milligrams. And mine come in 25 and they'll split in half. So you can get a pill cutter or you can get um, the water titration. And so they give you a support. So if you actually want to use the support network, you need to buy off of the website. You can't just buy at the health food stores. Like I got mine at Blush Lane Organics. And if I do the subsidy thing with them, then I need to report my mood scale daily. I need to like schedule regular phone calls with them, and they make sure you're doing okay. Because the thing is, if you come off meds, you need to know when you're not doing okay, and then you either hold at the dose or you go back up. And so it's like, do I really want to risk everything again? Like, I've just got to see my son again in the last couple of years. I was gonna see him when he was 5, and then I actually came off meds then, and I was just about to see him. I was doing so well, and so I don't want to go back to that relapse. It took me years to rebuild, so it's like, is this really worth it? Would this really work? And I don't know. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the studies I've read through because it seems like there is some situations where these can help, and so my intention now is to stay on meds, but to feel a little bit better and at least finish the bottle I have and just see if it makes a difference because I do have paranoia, I have anxiety, I have depression and other symptoms. And so, if it could help with that, that'd be great. That being said, since I started taking it, I cut all my supplements cold turkey and went on the wild rose detox. And I remember Terry, the guy that formulated it, had said to me that you don't want to take supplements during the detox because you pee them out, it's a waste of money. And so I stopped them. And in that week that I stopped them, I broke up with my boyfriend due to trust issues. Like all this thing was just hitting me hard. And I'm like, oh my God, like, is it because I didn't take the supplements or were the supplements actually making me worse? Like, because I was having trust issues and all these, like, get really sad about it and randomly going through these mood swings all the time. And it's like, is it helping? And then trying to keep up with all my herbs and supplements every day is a lot. And so I quit the detox halfway through. Now, it did help my stomach a lot, this detox, and I did do a video on it. But when my boyfriend quit because his tinnitus was getting really bad, I quit and then we had a breakup. And this is the love of my life, and I kind of want to get him back. But, anyways, he said it's over, so we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We're just staying away from each other. And so it's been a lot of upheaval since I started all these protocols and I started B12 and zinc, and then I was like, no, they're methylated. I'm going to stop them. And then I started the algae oil for EPA, DHA, mental health support, and body support. I'm doing, if you want to see my protocol, I made another video, so I'm not going to get into all of it, but the niacin and vitamin C through camu berry, and then the True Hope supplement. Now I'm doing amino acids. And I actually ran into someone at the gym that was like a member there, and she was like, I'm a scientist, so if I was you, I would do one thing at a time so you know what's working and what's not. And I had a friend tell me, you don't need all those herbs and supplements. And it's like, I'm taking so many of them, it's hard to know which one's making me better, which one's making me worse. Like when I started the flower essences that were supposed to help, I started feeling really stressed all the time. And I've had that with flower essences before, and I'm like, maybe I should stop. And I'd stop for a while, and I'd start for a while, and it helps me drink more water, and then my stomach's working better for the first time in years, and so something's working, but then at the same time, it's like, it's a lot. And taking ashwagandha, so it's like, how many of these do I need? Because financially, I know I can't keep up with all of them, so I'm gonna have to make a decision. So I'm just tuning in, I'll ask my heart, what do I feel like I need today? And I'm just continuing with the protocol. And so this is the research that I got from the True Hope website. So there was a study, okay, Empower Plus for schizophrenia. And excuse me if I am a little slow reading through these. And when my friend gets here, I gotta run, take our dogs for a walk. So then it's laying on my feet here. So let me just try to read my notes. It's gonna be a little difficult, so bear with me. And again, if you guys love my channel, please give me a like, a subscribe, and a comment. It really helps me to reach more people, and it encourages me to keep making these. So maybe comment if you've ever tried multivitamins for mental health and what your experience would be, positive or negative. I'm open. I love hearing from you guys. Um, so she's seen both people continue on meds and people who have tapered off. Um, She gets people to always be honest with your support team. If you come off meds, it's very dangerous when you start lying, and that's never okay. And that's just going to put you in more compromise. Um, she sent me an info on my email to send to my doctor. Um, she said check my junk folder. I might go in there. She said I could take True Hope with other supplements, but I might find eventually that I don't need all of them. Um, she said I could do a little trial experiment. To kind of see like just True Hope, and then if there's extra symptoms I'm having after a month or so, like depression, I can add in vitamin D. Um, for me, she recommended the Empower Plus Advanced formula, and because I had a schizophrenia diagnosis, they would recommend the unmethylated version. Um, I was reading a little bit about methylated versus unmethylated. And it seems like a lot of doctors with the OCD type that are really overachievers and really high achievers, they do better with methylated stuff, but depends what other symptoms they have. So psychosis indicates that people need less methylation. Um, so one call with the support team is $45 if you buy the product outside of the website from a health food store. If you buy it from them, you get unlimited support to phone calls anytime that they're open 8 to 4, whatever it is, Mountain Standard Time. Um, if finances are concerned, you can apply for the wellness program. You have to send in your tax document or your AISH stub or disability stub. I said, how long till they work? Some people notice a difference after a week, some people a month. So they also recommend the amino acids, though, based on your budget, you don't have to do everything. They told me to do the Candida questionnaire. I know I have Candida. I'll probably still have to do the questionnaire, but then they recommend olive leaf extract. I booked an appointment with them to do an intake. Um, so the True Hope Advanced is $72 for 120 capsules, and the dosage is 2 to 12 capsules a day. She said, based on my diagnosis, I'm probably taking anywhere from 8 to 12 a day. The powder is cheaper. It's a big tub. That's $87 a month, although some people's compliance isn't as good with the powder as it is with the capsules. Um, that's 35 ounces. So one tub could last me, one scoop is 4 capsules. So 2 scoops a day would last me about a month. So $87 a month. When I bought the product from the health food store, it said 2 to 4 capsules a day, sorry. Two to 3 capsules 2 times a day. And so I started taking 4 a day. And I think that lasts me about a month for $67, and that's non-advanced. Um, so truehope.com had these studies. Um, and so I started studying it. Um, People with schizophrenia have too much methylation. Um, Nutrients, 2 to 3 months. See, my writing is not great here. So in 2 to 3 months, people with schizophrenia, more than 80% of them felt better. Quite a few of them didn't need as much medication. Um, Bill Wash is a good guy on YouTube that talks about the methylation thing. So there's a study about kids with ADHD, and after 8 weeks of being on the supplements, this is done by a group of scientists in New Zealand. Most kids significantly improved on Empower Plus, significant improvements in hyperactivity, impulsivity, attention, sleep, and mood. Some no longer were diagnosed with ADHD by the end of it. There was a case study of a kid that had barely any appetite, he was losing weight. He was diagnosed ADD and then ADHD and then later bipolar with severe outbursts. The medication wasn't working for him, the ADD meds, it was making him more agitated and violent. He pushed his brother down the stairs after just being on the ADD meds for 1 to 2 weeks. Um, it wasn't working well for him. It helped him a little bit in school, but as soon as the meds wore off when he was home, he did a lot worse. The nutrition supplements worked really well for him. He was able to get off his medication. Um, there's a website called isnpr.org. Check out some more info. Read Anatomy of Epidemic book for more info on how nutrition is more effective than drugs in treating long-term psychiatric cases. However, drugs can be helpful in the short term. I've heard so many different things. Not my psychiatrist wouldn't always agree with that. So I don't know what to believe. I think both could be true. True Hopes was studied at the Canadian Centre for Behavioral Neuroscience with brain injured rats. So they induced brain injuries in these rats. The rats had changes in behavior, brain morphology, and regrowth of their brain. They induced the brain injury through surgery. Yeah, that's a pretty cruel thing to do to rats, but I guess humans do these things, sadly. Um, And so they've never seen anything like this in any study that the brain injury, they had a control group of rats that weren't given True Hope and the ones that were given it, they actually had their brain regrow. So they supplement with the supplements in the cognitive spatial, it reversed cognitive spatial deficit in the brain. It partially reduced the motor deficit in the medial frontal lesion in animals and reduced cognitive deficits in posterior lesion animals. I saw pictures of the brains and how it regrow. This is unheard of, and a miracle. I live in a building full of people with brain injuries, the URSA neighbors, and like, yeah, this would be amazing for them. So Morris tank test results. Rats with frontal lobe lesions were impaired in task, and True Hope group had completely recovered. No other test had ever seen this rate of recovery. The rats had surgically induced brain lesions. Central group showed no improvement. There was no improvement in the rats that didn't have it. So the websites on the um, True Hope website has studies on psychosis that weren't as great as I thought I was hoping for, but significant nonetheless. Page 5, a study by Bonnie Kaplan, a research scientist from UFC, University of Calgary. 45 studies were done on the therapeutic benefits of supplements and proven that micronutrients, several B vitamins or broad spectrum micronutrients, which is usually over 20 minerals and vitamins. It showed that it helps people with their mental health. So, study 6, multivitamins and nutrients were added to conventional medicine for 1 month to 24 months for people with schizophrenia or psychosis. One group got Empower Plus and meds, and the other group was, so they were going to have half of a group have placebo and half have the medication. And what was interesting in the study is all the people that were given choice of risking getting the med or the placebo, not knowing which would be which, they pulled out of the study because they didn't want to get a placebo and be in a study. Fair enough. And so they restructured the study. And then they gave the people the True Hope and told them they were giving them that. And they compared that group with the people that had dropped out of the study. So they decided not to give placebos to anyone. So the outcome was the same for 15 months with the group. That's a long time. That's 13, yeah, 15 months. That's a year and 3 months. Um, it was the same for the people that were just on meds and it dropped out, or the people that were taking the supplement. But what happened after the 15 months was interesting. After 15 months, the micronutrient group took significantly less medication. The micronutrient group with medication had significantly fewer symptoms than the medication only group, even more so after 24 months. Study 19, case study of a boy with a 3-year history of mental health. Several research groups into micronutrient treatment, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and essential fatty acids showed improvement in mood, anxiety, and psychotic symptoms. So that's cool. Using a complex formula that appears to be safe and tolerable. The studies proved it to be safe and tolerable. A case study of an 11-year-old boy with a 3-year history of mental health whose parents transitioned him from medication to micronutrients. He had complete remission of psychosis, anxiety, and OCD and improved substantially. After 4 years, he improved substantially. The True Hope. Okay, sorry. So that's all, you guys. And my friend's coming soon, so I really should sign off and get this uploaded onto YouTube. Again, like follow your heart. I'm not recommending anybody with schizophrenia come off meds. I believe meds are good and we should stay on them. I think this is a supplement that can help us to stay well while we're on our meds. And if that changes, I'll let you guys know. And so stay safe, take care of your guys' health, see a qualified healthcare practitioner. None of this is medical advice. It's for educational purposes only. Please give me a like and a subscribe. Send me a comment. Let me know if you've ever tried micronutrients for your mental health and what were the effects, whether positive or negative. And I love you all. Take care. Thanks for tuning in.